A warm morning in Melbourne has welcomed the Australian Formula One Grand Prix launch here at Albert Park. Speedcafe.com is here. Let's go and check out the action.
First race on the calendar is always very special. You know, we've been away for our winter break and building the new car and excited about the new challenge and seeing what this car and this package can do at the start of the year. And Australia is the best place for that. You know, it's obviously the furthest away race, so you sort of find your way back after Australia to the next races.
I can't wait to get back to Melbourne this year for the Australian Grand Prix. 2014 is going to be a really exciting year with lots of changes, so the fans have plenty to look forward to. It's been a few years since I have won the Australian Grand Prix, and I will be pushing very hard to start the season with a victory in front of the Australian fans.
For me, lots of good memories. You know, I've won there 3 times. It's been the circuit I've done best on over the years in Formula One. And there's a really good atmosphere. You know, Australians really get into the sport. They don't just back one person, they back all the drivers on the grid.
Australia. I could talk about kangaroos, about koala bears, but I'd much rather talk about Formula One and the race in Melbourne. So I think it's a great event. I think all of the drivers, including myself, we really enjoy going there. It's a great atmosphere, a lot of fans. I think the reception we will have there once more this year, and we always have, is fantastic. So it's an extraordinary event, and definitely one of the best Grand Prix we have on the calendar. So all in all, basically, I'm looking forward to get back to Australia.
It's part street circuit, part circuit, so it's an unusual balance, but a circuit that I've always enjoyed driving. When you push your car to the limit around Albert Park, you really do find the limit of that car. Very, very bumpy. Some good overtaking places on the circuit as well, and a very special place to cross the line first.
I'm joined now by the CEO of the Australian Grand Prix Corporation, Andrew Westacott. Can you believe this is going to be the 30th Australian Grand Prix?
No, it's fantastic. We're building up our, I can believe it actually, but we're building up a tradition in Australia, the 30th consecutive Australian Grand Prix and the 19th in Melbourne. And we've got turbos this year. You've got to go back to 88 in Adelaide with Prost and Senna winning to get to the turbo era. So maybe for the McLaren fans, there's an omen there, but they've got to do a lot of improving.
Also, we've seen some testing and gee, we're going to see a bit of a mixed bag at this Grand Prix, aren't we?
You bet we are. But we always do. It is a litmus test for the season. But at the end of the day, regardless of what happens in the testing, this is always a race won by world champions. The last 8 in total have been won by world champion drivers. And in fact, I think out of those 8, 5 of them have gone on to win the world championship in that same year. So it's a tough test. We heard Jenson Button talking about it earlier on. It's a cross between a street circuit and a natural circuit. But at the end of the day, when they're knocked down, they've done all their testing in Jerez and Bahrain. They come to Melbourne and it's no holds barred.
There's always a massive focus on this race, but more so this year with the new cars and also locally a new Australian, well not a new Australian, but a guy who stepped up in the Red Bull team and replacing another Australian legend. Yeah,
there's been a lot of driver changes because of performance. There's been a lot of team principal changes as a result of lack of performance. But one person who can perform and is a great driver is Daniel Ricciardo, and I think you'll slot him very, very well into Mark's seat. They're into the Constructors' Championship team. They've won the last 4. That's going to put a little bit of pressure, but it should put a bit of comfort on Daniel's shoulders as well.
How important for your event, or our event, the Australian Grand Prix, is to have a guy like Daniel Ricciardo?
Oh, it is. I won't say it's critical, but it's a really good added extra because Melburnians and Australians love Aussies in sport, whether it's Pat Rafter in tennis, whether it's winning the cricket, Bledisloe Cups, you name it. We're on the eve of the Olympics in Sochi, we love high performances from Aussies. And Daniel Ricciardo's capable of getting on the podium at some stage in his career. I don't want to put the pressure on him, but I don't think pressure from Andrew Westacott is front of mind for Daniel. He's a seasoned performer already.
But it would be nice in the 30th running to have an Australian on the top step.
You bet it would. You bet it would. We didn't have it in Adelaide. We haven't had an Aussie on the top step. In fact, we haven't had an Aussie on the podium at the Australian Grand Prix. So maybe that's what we've got to ask for. 30 years, an Aussie.
The V8 Supercars are back at Albert Park as part of the Grand Prix, and I've got the ambassador, Craig Lowndes, the ambassador for V8 Supercars and motorsport really in this country. Craig, the Grand Prix is a massive event also for V8 Supercars.
Well, it is, Benny. I think that it's quite amazing that we get to race in front of world class. Obviously we've got a great connection through Red Bull with Formula One, but to be able to showcase what V8 stand for, where it's a non-championship race, but we take this deadly seriously. If you see some of the accidents, some of the crashes we have around here, you got to say that we all want to win here. It's no doubt about that.
Now, in terms of the formats, they haven't announced it yet, but you kind of know what's going on. What are we in for anyway?
Look, no big surprises, but look, it's going to be interesting. I think I'm not allowed to announce it as yet, but it'll, as I said, no big surprises, but we've seen it before, and it'll be quite interesting to see the starts.
The starts always. Now, it's a very busy month, the next really 4 to 5 weeks, including the Grand Prix, but your year, in terms of competitive-wise, gets underway this weekend up at Bathurst.
Well, it does. It's something that obviously we try and start the season off with a bit of a bang, and of course the 12-hour gives us an opportunity to get back into race mode before we get into V8 Supercar world. So yeah, this weekend coming is obviously the 12-hour, racing with the Maranello Ferrari this year, which is going to be great. I'm actually driving with Bowie in the first time in I think about 20 years, and obviously Mika Salo and of course Peter Edwards. So we've got a great opportunity. The car's nice. We've already had a test day, but of course we get to Sydney and get to Bathurst midweek this week, and then see what happens. And
then straight after that, back to Sydney for the test day, which from a fan perspective has become really popular as well.
Well, it has. I think it's an open day. Everyone will get to see obviously the cars, the new livery, but you also get to see the new Volvo, and I think we're all excited about that as well as everyone else, to see what the car looks like, how it performs, see whether it's up to spec with obviously the Mercedes, where Nissan left off. So all that's the unknown, but it's a great day because again, we need to start a benchmark, and we start again. We're 12 months more advanced than what we were this time last year, but of course everyone's the same vote.
And just finally, 12 months ago, everyone was racing to get to this test day and all that. How has the summer break been within your team and for yourself, even to recharge and really focus on 2014?
I think every team's had a great opportunity to really shut down. I think the guys, the workers, had a great opportunity to go away, spend some time with the family. The cars are exactly the same cars we ended last year, so there's no new builds. They've been obviously stripped down, they've been repaired and refurbished, but they're the same car. So we've had a lot more time to finesse things, and of course we hit the ground running a lot better prepared this year.
The Rolex Australian Formula One Grand Prix here at Albert Park gets underway March 13 and carries through to the Grand Prix itself from 5 p.m. on the 16th of March.